Today's dish consists of spices that you would normally find in an achar. Now, for those wondering, what is an achar? Achar, if spelled in English Achar, is a pickled food, more so in the South Asian part of the world. Not to be confused with chutneys. And chutneys is what you normally see in a Western culture. Chutney in a South Asian food culture is something that's fresh, primarily water-based, maybe a bit of oil, depending, and meant to be eaten in a short span of time, within 1 to 3 days, or at the time of when it's made. Achar, being that it's pickled, is something that is fermented and can be kept in your pantry, fridge, whatever cool area for a much longer period of time. We did actually make a video on how to make mint chutney if you want to check it out, the link above. It's a chutney that my mom normally makes at home. Hers is spicier and tangier, but something you can definitely have in your fridge. In our case, achars are mainly oil-based and heavy in spices and goes through a fermentation process. Now, this here, Major Grace chutney, which a lot of people may be familiar with in the Western part of the world, is not quite a chutney and it's not quite an achar. It is definitely a condiment that is more of a jam-like food product. I'm not sure how else to describe it, but upon tasting it, it does have a very jammy texture and more of a sweet taste with reminiscence of Indian familiar spices. But it is not a chutney, it is not an achar. It is something that is made for a different palate so that they could enjoy some of the desi flavors. And when I say desi, that's basically all countries that, whether it's Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Sri Lanka, all of those are within that whole encompass. Which I think I will then, from now on, be saying desi cooking as opposed to specifically Indian, because a lot of these dishes do come from different places. And India, which was Hindustan, was at one point Pakistan and Bangladesh with it, before they became independent countries and became solo entities. I am not a fan of this, what I will be calling it a mango jam. Rob likes it, so that's why we have it in our fridge, but in most desi kitchens, you will not be finding this particular condiment because it's too sweet for our palate. We prefer the strong, pickly, sour, salty, spicy flavors in our achars. Rob likes this, so we do keep it around. If you have it, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no judgment here. It's just whatever suits your palate that you appreciate, that still enables you to enjoy any desi cooking. That would make us very, very happy because we want our flavors to be recognized across the world. Now, these are some of the achars that we have at home. We only have 2 kinds, which is the mango achar and the lime pickled achar. You can see they're both quite different. I'm actually running low on the mango achar. I need to get some at some point, but it's small green mangoes cut up, pickled, and left in small little chunks in the achar, and it's my favorite. It is very strong in flavor, but it is my favorite. Just thinking about it is making my mouth water. It's very sour, it's very salty. You can get in various level of heat. I like it quite spicy because I want it to be paired with my dish. Now this dish, wait. I just want to sit down so I can get a little comfy. Okay. How's that? We're good? You guys can still see me, I'm assuming? Yes, everything looks good. Okay, so this dish is from a book called Thali by Maunika Gowardhan. And if you go back to some of our previous videos, you'll see we've done some recipe testing from this book. And this is the lamb or the meat portion of the book that we're testing now. And in the book, it's called Achari Gosht in Hindi, Urdu. And in English, it's called Slow Cooked Lamb Curry in Pickling Spices. Now, I do want to clarify something. If you see other recipes, whether it's with other meats like poultry or fish, and you see it called achari chicken, achari fish, achari meat, In a lot of those recipes, you will find that they've already have added either the pickled lime achar or the other existing achars out of a bottle. The reason I wanted to try this is because we are going to be using not the jar achar as an addition, but we are going to be using the whole spices that will give something of a familiarity or similar tasting in the dish itself. All right, well, let's take a look at the ingredients. I actually went to a butcher in the market where we normally shop at and asked them to cut the 1 pound of lamb shoulder bone into about 1.5 to 2 inch pieces. Roughly, they don't have to be exact. We want to keep the bone on because we are actually going to be making a bit of a stock out of the lamb and the meat and lamb bones that will be added later on to this dish. This process right here is actually quite important. Why are we slowly cooking down the onions? One, it's to eventually help provide a thicker gravy at the end of the cooking, and two, it actually lends a color because we will not be adding any tomatoes in this dish at all. The dark color of the onions will impart a dark color to the overall dish, along with the other spices, but the onions will be playing a key role in that coloring. Once all the spices are added, the onions kind of look like they may have burned. I'm going to be honest, I thought they had actually burned a little. I was getting very concerned because as soon as we added the spices, it got really dark really fast. I did taste a bit of it and it was fine. There was no char taste. I smelled it and there was no burning flavor. And in cooking, your nose is very important because it'll be the first line of defense to let you know if something has gone wrong before you even taste anything. So there was no burning smell, there was no burning taste. We are fine. You don't have to take it this far in darkness if you don't want to. It's our first time making it. And when you're making things for a video, sometimes it's hard to control timings. But we were fortunate. Everything's fine. It tasted great. Once I could see the meat had cooked and had become quite tender, but not quite falling off the bone yet, We decided to serve it on some rice. You can have some type of bread, any kind of bread you would like, naan or roti, or if you have sourdough bread at home, you can have that as well. We decided to serve it on rice, and let me tell you what we thought of this dish. This dish turned out so savory, so unctuous. The meat is nice and tender. All the spices in this dish take it into a slightly different direction, has a bit of a tang to it. Wow. 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 You don't taste one specific spice. The spices are there and chosen so that they can be in harmony together. Wow. That turned out absolutely amazing. Wow. This dish was tender. It was savory. It was not quite sweet because we did add a bit of that sugar, but it had a reminiscence of something caramelized, and that's probably both from the slow cooking of the onions and adding a little bit of the brown sugar. It just activated all the saliva glands as soon as you had your first bite of it. It was so good. It was just mouth-wateringly delicious. It was... Wow.
Oh, super tender. Oh.
Is it great?
Wow.
Slightly sweet, slightly tangy, caramelly.
Amazingly tender.
There is a little bit of heat, just very little. It's so good. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Neither of us could stop eating it. We just kept going back for more, and we almost finished it that day. It was so good. I will say this though, if you have leftovers and the next day you want to have it, I would recommend reheating it gently in a pot rather than heating it up in a microwave, because a bit of that sugar is in there and we've cooked out quite a bit of the liquid. The meat gets a little, not dry, but it gets a little chewy, and it gets a little sticky. If you gently reheat it in a pot with a little bit of water, if you want to make it a little more liquidy and just keep it going, you will enjoy it the next day as if it was made freshly at that moment. Will I make this again? Damn straight I'll be making this again. It was that good. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. The next video we will be coming out with is a little more of a comprehensive review of Debyer pans. Now, we have done a video on a review of Debyer pans that we currently own. I think we did about 2.5 years ago. Debyer reached out to us once they saw the video, and they were quite pleased with it, that they asked if we wanted to do any further reviews of any of their existing pans. And we asked for some, and they did send it to us. So next video we'll be reviewing those pans. And Rob does an amazing job in going quite deep into it while not going too scientific on it. Because we're home cooks, we want to be able to enjoy what we're cooking. So keep an eye out for it. It should be coming out either next week or in a few weeks. After that, we will then be posting a final recipe testing video of this particular book, Thali. And we already did a recording of it. We just wanted to wait because we came across some hiccups on our end, and we decided to do a little more research. And we wanted to do some research and figure out what went wrong and why, because it was our first time doing it. And as a first time cook of any particular recipe, if it doesn't work out, you don't want to be disheartened. So we researched, we looked and Googled, and we decided to put together a more comprehensive video of that as well. And that'll be the final video of the series, so let's make it a good one. So keep an eye out for that as well. We appreciate all the comments, all the support that we continue to get from everyone, and we've been steadily growing, which we really are happy to see. So if you are new to our channel and you have enjoyed some of our previous videos, please don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like. Liking is a big thing, not only just for the algorithm, but we're not really here to feed the algorithm. It's more to let us know that you are enjoying what we put out. We put a lot of work into it, so we want you to be happy with what we do as well. So thank you for watching, and we shall see you next time. If you make this recipe from the book, it'll be worth having. Damn. Wow.
Beautiful.
I'd say that was a success.
Mm-hmm.